colorectal cancer, especially in regards to preventing colorectal cancer. Now, we're not looking at making any dietary changes per se, but actually adding something to the diet that may help inhibit colorectal cancer itself, especially since colorectal cancer tends to be aggressive and have a poor prognosis. This element research discovered is called cinnamaldehyde, which is common in cinnamon. Researchers basically wanted to find something that was commonly available and easy to spice up the diet or add to the diet per se, that had a beneficial effect in inhibiting colorectal cancer cells from ever forming to begin with. And that's what they discovered. So let's look into the research and see exactly how they came about or came across this discovery. In the research title, researchers discover a component of cinnamon, their words not mine, prevents colorectal cancer in mice in the citation title. NRF2 dependent suppression of Azoxymethane, Dextran, Sulfate, Sodium-Induced Carcinogenesis by the Cinnamon-Derived dietary factor Cinnamaldehyde, published in Cancer Prevention Research since 2015. And this is how the research started off with. Research conducted at the University of Arizona College of Pharmacy and the UA Cancer Center indicated that a compound derived from cinnamon was a potent inhibitor of colorectal cancer cells. That compound, you may have heard me mention in the beginning, was cinnamaldehyde. Now let's look a little further on what they discovered in regards to cinnamaldehyde and colorectal cancer cells. This is kind of interesting because as you begin to hear the words as far as prevention, you hear a few other words that kind of stand out. Is this more like what you'd call like an antidote to carcinogens? Or is it actually something that just prevents certain colon cancer cells from ever forming to begin with? You'll understand more what I mean in a second. So let's read through. It goes, basically researchers recently completed a study which this is the words, proved. Now proved is a word that you don't often hear in scientific literature. You often will hear may or highly likely or possible, but you don't often hear the word proved. But they use the word proved. Now keep in mind this is an animal model, not a human model. In order to be fully carried out to see exactly how effective it is, it has to be eventually done in humans and human testing clinical trials. But this is something simple to begin with. Proved that adding cinnamaldehyde, the compound that gives cinnamon its distinctive flavor and smell, to the diet of mice, protected the mice against colorectal cancer. In response to cinnamaldehyde, this is where it gets really kind of intriguing. The animal cells had acquired the ability to protect themselves against the exposure to a carcinogen through detoxification and repair. You see what I mean? Kind of like, is this like an antidote to certain carcinogens, so to say, like an antidote to a poison? But that's my conjecture, not what the researchers said. So it's kind of a detoxification repair in regards to cinnamaldehyde. Now, cinnamaldehyde is found in both primary forms of cinnamon, but let's read through. There are two main types: Ceylon cinnamon, known as true cinnamon. That's the one you want to stick with, and you'll understand why in a second. And Cassia cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon grows what used to be called Ceylon, Sri Lanka, place I'm not going to pronounce, and Madagascar. Cassia generally comes from China and Indonesia. Both types contain, this is like the nasty element you don't want a lot of, coumarin, which is a natural flavoring compound found in plants. Studies have linked high levels of coumarin intake to liver damage in small numbers of sensitive people. So if you're going to play it safe, go with the Ceylon, the true cinnamon. And this is why too, just to add a little more depth to what I'm saying. Ceylon, true cinnamon, as opposed to Cassia. On average, Cassia cinnamon, the one that comes from China and Indonesia, will often have up to 63 times more coumarin than Ceylon cinnamon powder. So if you got the choice between Ceylon and Cassia, simple, go true cinnamon, Ceylon. And as a side note, the dietary intake of the cinnamaldehyde that they gave the mice was about 0.1 to 0.5% of the total diet by weight, if that should help you at all. Again, I hope this does truly help in regards to choosing cinnamon and potentially for humans, prevention or protection against colorectal cancer. But again, research it on your own and come to your own conclusions in regard to the research. I do hope it helps. This is Ralph Churchiano signing off once again. Thank you.